The president, in realization of the complaints of the Kenyan people, needs to, number two, show the Kenyan people that he is going to journey with Kenyans in the next processes of procuring anything of strategic importance to this country. It is something so critical that this country needs to get back to a point where when contracts are signed on our behalf, we have confidence in them. So when you ask what next, number one, Professor said it very well. I do not think that the mistakes of certain people should be burdened on the Kenyan people. Mm-hmm. The people who did not see that the Securities Exchange Commission of the United States had raised a flag years ago, if they did not realize that Total in India had pulled contracts away from Adani, if they did not realize that, then I'd ask the president to do the next logical thing. Let them bear the costs and bear those costs at home. They cannot sit in office and let Kenyans bear that cost. Mm-hmm. Third, the government now has an opportunity to tell the Kenyan people, number one, what is the value of the JKIA? How much does it make? And if it makes 18 billion shillings a year, do we need Adani, or do we need to take a strategic loan over the next 50 years against our 18 billion profit without giving shareholding of our airport to somebody else? Do Kenyans desire that the airport should be held wholly by Kenyans? Or do we want it to be like Safaricom, which has shareholders? Do we want it to be like Kenya Power, which has people as shareholders and government as majority? Or do we want to own it ourselves, build it ourselves, and hold it into national pride? And this is the other question that we must ask. It is not just a question of corruption. It is also a question of national pride. I will tell you for free, when I land in some jokes of airports, and I hope they do not hear me, in Ethiopia or in Tanzania, I am proud to know that JKIA handles more people. Kenyans are able to fly in and out more, and we have the potential of being the Dubai of Africa. So there's a sense of pride. So do I want my institution to be owned externally? I don't. But these are the questions that we need to carry Kenyans through. One, do they want it to be out of the country? Two, can they afford to pay for it themselves? And three, the people who are held liable in what they have done. It should not just be Adani who's been sent packing to India. It should be also anyone else who was materially, whether complicit or complacent, in not making sure that the right thing was done. Mm-hmm. Those people also need their responsibility.
Prof, we are seeing a lot of activity, especially in the Mount Kenya region, with the re-emergence of impeached former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. What do you make of all these, crowd pulling, all this activity, and marshalling up of a certain army that seems to be not yet announced of sorts?
You see, Gachagua, when he was a deputy president, he tried very hard to make himself the Mount Kenya kingpin in the work. Because you can't make yourself a leader. You have to be the voice through which people's frustrations find expression. And then you assume the role of the leader naturally. Now, what has happened here is the people who are advising the president, they misled him. I think impeaching Gachagua was a very bad idea because it has created him as a leader now for the Mount Kenya. Whether some people will agree or not is going to be a fact. The first, people, the way he was treated, for the same reason why people supported Ruto, they didn't like the way Ruto was treated by Uhuru Kenyatta. So now they don't like the way Ruto has treated Gachagua. So for now, it appears that the Gachagua will assume a very big role in Mount Kenya, even though if I was the one advising the president, I would have told him to just frustrate the fellow, but don't impeach. The reason is this. And impeach Gachagua. Gachagua naturally is a very difficult Kenyan. Gachagua would have run for president if he was not impeached and defined the opposition. But an impeached Gachagua can't run for president. He can't run for any seat. He will be forced to support someone else. Now that's very dangerous for the president. I think they didn't see that coming. I think they should have calculated this very carefully. I think losing Gachagua the way he is right now, he throws his weight behind any candidate for that matter. Whoever candidate will come, it will be a huge challenge to dislodge that candidate.